the next thing, folks, is as we'll start now on here. Yeah, good.
Here, then. Here.
Actually, I'll start with
Do you want to do this one? Now, come here, fella. You've got to stay boring because you've got to stand right with him, right? And you got to...
Arboretum. In very wet land, birch and alder will bring air to trees that can't get oxygen. Do you understand that? That's why plants grow on sand dunes. How can plants grow in seawater? Because there's tiny air tubes going inland, bringing air to the grasses that grow. In the same way, plants exchange up to 10%. There's one theory that they actually borrow. There's one study in Canada that suggests that they loan 10%, but they do come back and look for it. That's not understood yet, but that the tree knocks. It proceeds on the basis of, let's say, a loan from the bank, and the bank comes back and says, well, you know, we want something back. It's symbiotic. This holly and this arbutus will be happier with more shade and shelter in a wetland. Do you see what I'm saying? They'll encourage, they want shade and shelter. They need each other. They also come from the same biome. They're all limestone. They come
Beautiful mixture.
and a beautiful mixture. Exactly. That's
It's like walnut. Someone told me this theory that they just enhance growth in other trees in order for them they get too high and then they get knocked down and they can take over the land. But I like more your theory that is more a healthy symbiotic. You know, somebody told me this about walnut and maybe hazel as well. They enhance growth in trees around, and then these trees will just get too big for themselves to hold themselves. And did you hear about that?
yes, I'm familiar. Well, what I was wondering was, I've seen some very ancient orchards, and in all the old orchards in England, I saw a walnut in the middle. Ancient walnut trees, non-native to Ireland. And I could never work out, why do orchards have walnuts growing in them? And then I discovered that the walnut, in its early years, releases loads of sugar, loads of sweets to the children, loads of sweets. And the plants explode with growth and actually die. Weed killers work like that. Weed killers are based on bringing the plant to the point where it explodes from growing too much. That's how a weed killer works. You put the weed killer on, it just explodes from growth, cellular explosion. And walnut is thought to do that alleliopathically. Alleliopathically. And an allelopath is something, the ferns release a chemical to kill off competition. There are very hostile plants. There's one plant in this quarry called the Japanese knotweed. John Pearce and myself have looked at lots of different ways. Eventually we ended up using a chemical. But that Japanese knotweed comes into a place, and everywhere around the Japanese knotweed, the growth is unnatural. Huge, massive growth. And then suddenly everything dies and the knotweed moves on. Do you follow that? So the walnut, and yet the walnut is not known to compete with fruit trees. Fruit trees appear to be immune to the action of walnut. Do you follow that, John? And they would have known this. A lot of Rudolf Steiner's material in biodynamics comes from the early church. A lot of the modern theories that are coming from Steiner, Victor Schoberger, a lot of this material was practiced by, but then Ignatius Loyola, the great Jesuit, set up the Inquisition, and a lot of this knowledge, this important cosmic understanding, was willfully destroyed. Not destroyed. 2 square kilometres under the Vatican have all the archives from this period, from about the 7th century, when the early church reached an incredible height in arboriculture, horticulture, in the realm of cultivation. And the other evening at a night class I was talking about the importance of the moon, the effect of the moon, and a few people were laughing. But in actual fact, the moon of course affects us. The moon affects us in a very real way. It affects plant growth in a very real way. As a matter of interest, today is a leaf day. Why leaf? Okay. It's based on the notion that as the moon crosses the sky, it crosses in front of certain constellations, crosses in front of other planets, and the moon is thought to magnify the influences of certain, it magnifies certain influences coming. We can't deny that we are affected and influenced by the cosmic canopy at night, the planets. We can't deny this. I'm quite at ease with this. Plants, who Steiner says, are not liberated. We are liberated by intellect. We are free of the moon. We are free of the stars. We can sit down and decide to do something. But plants and animals are completely locked in to the effects of cosmic forces. Do you follow that notion? We are free because we have our religions and our cultures and our notions and a lot of concepts and baggage that we don't need. Okay, I'm not talking about that. So that a leaf day, today's a leaf day. The planets, according to Steiner, are divided into 4 areas: earth, air, fire and water, the 4 elements. And as the moon passes the sky, it magnifies certain earthy elements. Plant potatoes during an earthy time of the moon. A fruit time, the sun makes fruit, makes seed. The leaf time, air. This tree is breathing. A lot of air. Our air comes from what a tree, the waste of a tree is actually oxygen, it's what we feed on. Our waste is carbon that the trees need. So today is a leaf day and a good day. But then again, not to just run to the calendar and say, oh, I can't do this today because it's not a leaf day or a root day. That's not the object. Steiner developed his thinking for the severe mental handicap. To give people with no discernible reality a very deep rhythm, ritual and ceremony in their life. The stirring of compost 300 times clockwise, 300 times anti-clockwise, gave focus to human minds that have no focus. Autistic people described as being locked into their head. Steiner developed ceremonies and very simple things, focuses. So he said, look, if you're not focused, use my calendar. But stronger than my calendar is your own feelings, what you feel in your own waters. But if you're not sure, I've developed a calendar to guide you, but your own heart is your compass. I'm not your compass, your heart is, but the calendar will help if there's confusion. And of course, Steiner's thinking has come true because he said there would be great change and confusion at the end of the 20th century. Great change. Like I'm surprised